Rasmus Højlund moved to Manchester United 2 years ago on a 5-year deal for €78 million. Having signed him at the age of 20, it was said that he was going to be United's striker for the next decade or so. After all, that was why they went for a striker that young. But just 2 years later, the club is already forcing him out. And what makes this so interesting is that Højlund doesn't want to leave. He has been so adamant about staying, fighting for his spot, and proving himself. But the club is not interested in all that. They want him out. Why? We'll answer that question in this video today. This is why Manchester United want to get rid of Rasmus Højlund. First of all, we'd say Højlund's problems began before he even moved to United. The expectations were just way too high for a young striker without much experience. He was compared to Haaland and was brought in for a pretty huge fee. This was a guy who had not scored 20 goals in all competitions in a single season in his career, but he was expected to come to the Premier League, lead the United attack, and help them go back to dominating England and Europe. These factors heaped a lot of pressure on the young striker, so when he struggled at the beginning, it felt like a massive disaster. Meanwhile, it was normal for a kid who had just moved to a new country. But if you watched him closely, it was always clear that there's a lot of potential there. Yes, he infamously failed to score a Premier League goal for 4 months after his debut, but he was banging in the Champions League at the same time, scoring 5 goals in his first 4 appearances and against giants like Bayern Munich and Galatasaray no less. Then after he finally broke his duck in the Premier League, he went on a run when he scored in 6 straight Premier League appearances. During this period, he was directly involved in 9 goals in 6 games and was named Premier League Player of the Month for February 2024. So yeah, there is definitely some talent there for sure. All he needs is some patience and a good environment to grow. And well, that leads us to our first point. Manchester United currently have neither of those things right now. Because of the situation of the club, United have no patience. They really can't afford to have players who need time to develop in the first team squad. The team is in shambles and they want to return to the glory days as quickly as possible, so they need players who will deliver right now. And what this means is that they'll continue to chop and change until they find the perfect squad. And this is exactly what makes United not the best environment for a young player to develop right now. The demands are so high, both from the club and from the fans, and sometimes it can get toxic, which will more often than not affect the players psychologically and in turn affect their performances on the pitch. This is exactly what we have seen happen to Højlund over the last couple years. But having now gone out to buy Benjamin Šeško, Højlund is now surplus to requirements, which is why United are desperate to move him on. The coach and the club sent a clear message to the player by leaving him out of the matchday squad in the opening game against Arsenal. They've basically added him to the group of Rashford, Garnacho and Malaysia, players who are no longer wanted at Manchester United. And the thing is, for his own good, Højlund just has to leave. Apart from Šeško playing up top, Kuna and Xerxes can also play as 9s if need be, and as we saw against Arsenal, Amorim can also use Mount in that position. So United really don't need the former Atalanta man, and trying to get some money off what they would consider a sellable asset sounds like the best way for them to go. But that's actually not the full story. We'll dive into that in a second, but if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away, so you never miss out on our amazing content. Done? Okay, now here's the full picture. The club and the fans are just really frustrated with Højlund, and they don't see any hope of redemption for him at Old Trafford. You can blame it on the environment or the pressure from everywhere, but the truth is that Højlund just has not been good enough for Man United since he joined, and he seemed to get worse last season. He scored just 10 goals in 52 appearances across all competitions, but it somehow gets worse when you take a closer look at the underlying stats. First of all, he doesn't even take enough shots. Last season he averaged 1.44 shots per 90. That's about the worst among centre forwards in Europe. For context, Paul Onuachu, who was the number 9 for Southampton, the worst team in the Premier League last season, managed 2.9 shots per 90. Heck, even Garnacho, who's hated by the entire United fan base, managed 3.44 shots per 90, playing for the same team in the same conditions. And he is not even a striker. Honestly, no matter how you try to spin it, less than 2 shots per game for a centre forward is just abysmal. I mean, if you don't shoot, how can you expect to score? And it's not like he contributes in other ways like assists or build-up play. He has only 2 assists in 62 Premier League games and averages 0.81 progressive passes per 90, so that has clearly not been his strong suit. Xerxes, for example, is really good when it comes to being involved in the build-up, taking on players, and setting up his teammates. So, even when his goal-scoring numbers aren't up there, you know the team can still greatly benefit from his all-round play. Højlund, meanwhile, is a less-than-average dribbler. He averaged 0.4 successful take-ons per game last season, just not good enough, even for a centre-forward. But if he was at least contributing by helping the defence or something like that, he might have had a saving grace. But he wasn't. Even when compared to only centre-forwards, his defensive numbers are still abysmal. So, the situation with Højlund is all just so strange. He doesn't track back and is not involved in the build-up. Okay then, you'd expect a player like this to be moving like a predator in the box, pouncing on any opportunity that comes his way, but he hardly does that either. He averaged just 3.3 touches in the attacking penalty area per 90 last season, which is just not good for a striker. For context, Mikel Merino, a midfielder who just played as a makeshift striker for a few months for Arsenal, averaged 4.1 touches in the attacking penalty area per game last season. Even Joshua Xerxes in the same team averaged 4.2 touches in the attacking penalty area per 90. And on top of that, Xerxes still fully involves himself in the build-up, takes on players, creates chances, and also tracks back to help the defense. So you can really see why the coach wants to keep Xerxes but get rid of Højlund. The Dane, however, still believes he can turn things around at the club and wants to stay so badly. But it seems he has come to the end of the road at Old Trafford. Like we said earlier, we actually do believe that there's a player in there somewhere, and hopefully a different environment will help him rediscover his form. But what are your thoughts on this? Are there any more reasons you believe Rasmus Højlund was forced out of Man United? Do you think he can go on to have a decent career elsewhere? Get in the comments and talk to us. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye!
Do you want to make money with affiliate marketing? Join the Goal90 Shop affiliate program and start earning today. Get your unique affiliate link and exclusive discount coupon to share with your audience. Every sale made through your link earns you a 10% commission. No limits, just real earnings. Don't miss out. Turn your influence into income now.